Almost everything you've been taught to do the right way might be wrong. And the most curious thing is that the warning signs have always been there. That feeling of unnecessary effort, the frustration without reason, the small discomfort you ignore every day. That's not bad luck. They are silent signs, hidden symptoms, true signals from your body trying to warn you that there's a better way. The problem is that nobody teaches you to listen to these early warning signs. On the contrary, they teach you to insist, and then the person forces it, repeats it, normalizes the discomfort. They accept initial symptoms as if they were part of adult life, but they're not. When something demands too much tension, too much haste, or too much anger, there's a good chance you're doing it right, in the wrong way. Ignoring these warnings is a collective, almost cultural habit. But those who learn to identify the symptoms you shouldn't ignore discover simple, efficient, and even elegant shortcuts. Those that make everything flow effortlessly. Today, the proposal is simple and powerful. Observe the obvious with different eyes. Question the automatic. Pay attention to the signals your body is giving you before burnout becomes the norm. Because sometimes, completely changing the outcome doesn't require more strength, more time, or more intelligence. It only requires stopping doing what everyone else does. And the most interesting thing is realizing how many wrong things work better, precisely because they respect what almost no one listens to. The sideways box grater. He observes that almost everyone uses the grater upright, vertically, and doesn't even notice the warning signs that appear there. Hand slipping, food flying, strange noise. These are signs from the body saying, whoops, this could go wrong. These silent symptoms don't appear for no reason. When you lay the grater on its side, something curious happens. Control increases, the force is better distributed, and the early warning signs simply disappear. It's a simple adjustment, but it changes everything. And look, don't ignore this detail because it applies to much more than just cooking. In practice, by resting the grater sideways on the countertop, it becomes almost a stable track. The food slides, the hand works in a relaxed way, and the initial symptoms of tension disappear. Anyone who has ever cut their finger-grating cheese knows well the symptoms you shouldn't ignore: wrist stiffness, fear of speeding up, constant discomfort. These are hidden symptoms of a bad method. The side-mounted version respects the signals your body is giving you and reduces the risk without extra effort. It's silent efficiency, the kind almost no one teaches. He often says that this is a pattern in life. When something requires too much force, it's usually poorly positioned. The grater simply demonstrates this in a didactic, almost pedagogical way. By listening to the silent signals, a person learns to adjust the environment, not the body. Tomorrow, it might be in the kitchen, later at a work desk, in a tight routine, or even in an important decision. Those who learn to read small warning signs avoid big problems. And it's curious to note that the next example follows exactly the same logic of stop forcing it. The bell pepper unroll. He realizes that almost everyone cuts bell peppers in the most obvious way, splitting them in half, struggling with the seeds, making a mess, while ignoring several warning signs in the process. Scattered seeds, a jamming blade, tense fingers, these are signals from the body indicating that there is a better way. These silent symptoms arise because the logic used is wrong from the start. When you cut off the top and unroll the bell pepper from the side, everything changes. It's simple, clean, and respects the early warning signs that almost no one listens to. In practice, simply remove the top cap, place the bell pepper on top, and rotate it in continuous strips around the core. The seeds become concentrated, the knife glides smoothly, and the initial signs of strain disappear. Anyone who has ever felt frustrated cutting vegetables knows these symptoms well, and you shouldn't ignore them. Rushing, crooked cuts, loss of control. These are hidden symptoms of an inefficient method. By changing the cutting technique, the person begins to respect the signals their body is giving them, gaining precision without needing more skill. He often uses this example to show how most people complicate simple tasks by following automatic patterns. The bell pepper teaches something bigger. When there is too much resistance, it's worth stopping and observing the silent signs before insisting. Intelligence lies in circumventing the problem, not in confronting it head-on. Those who learn this in the kitchen begin to see the same principle in other areas of daily life. And the curious thing is that the next bad habit that works best also involves heat, patience, and attention to detail. Reheating pizza on the stove. He notes that almost everyone puts cold pizza directly in the microwave without noticing the warning signs that appear with the first bite. Rubbery crust, strange cheese, total loss of texture. These are signs from the body that something was done wrong. They are silent symptoms that many people accept as normal, when in fact they are not. Reheating the pizza in a frying pan with a lid respects the early warning signals that taste and smell send. And yes, this completely changes the result. In practice, all you need is a non-stick frying pan over low heat, the slice placed on top, a few drops of water beside it, and a lid. The steam melts the cheese while the base becomes crispy. When this happens, the initial symptoms of frustration disappear instantly. Anyone who has ever experienced that sad pizza feeling knows the symptoms you shouldn't ignore. Chewing without pleasure, a sensation of dead food, the urge to give up. These are hidden symptoms of a process that's too fast. The stove brings life back to what seemed lost. He likes to remind us that the microwave isn't the villain, but it's not a cure-all either. Ignoring the signals your body is giving you in the name of haste comes at an invisible price. Small adjustments generate big gains when you pay attention to the silent signals. And this applies not only to pizza, but to anything that needs the right amount of time and heat. Interestingly, the next example takes this idea even further, showing that even cleaning can happen while creating something new. The self-cleaning blender. He realizes that many people completely disassemble the blender after using it, ignoring the warning signs that appear during the process. Slippery cup, dangerous blades, splashing water. These are signs from the body warning that it's not as intelligent as it seems. These silent symptoms arise because the method requires more risk than it should. When you put water, a drop of detergent, and turn on the appliance for a few seconds, the blender itself does the work. It's simple, quick, and respects early warning signs. In practice, after making a juice or smoothie, simply fill the glass halfway with warm water, add detergent, and turn it on for 20 seconds. The whirlpool cleans the walls and blades effortlessly. Anyone who has ever cut themselves washing a razor blade knows the symptoms you shouldn't ignore. Tension in your fingers, fear of touching it, and a rush to finish. These are hidden symptoms of an unsafe habit. The automatic method listens to the signals your body is giving you and eliminates unnecessary risks. He often says that intelligence isn't about doing more, it's about letting the system work for you. Ignoring the silent signals leads to tiring and dangerous routines for no reason. When you learn to use your own process to your advantage, everything flows better. This logic is repeated in various areas of life, especially when something seems difficult simply because it was taught incorrectly. And it's interesting to note that the next wrong habit that works best also involves observing where things actually give way. Opening clamshell packaging from the bottom. He notes that almost everyone tries to open those rigid plastic packages from the front, struggling with scissors, a knife, and their own patience, while several warning signs appear. Slipping plastic, excessive force, risk of cuts. These are signs from the body saying that this is not the way. These silent symptoms go unnoticed because the person just wants to finish quickly. When the package is turned over and the bottom is started, everything gives way with less resistance. That's where the early warning signs were pointing from the beginning. In practice, simply observe where the plastic is sealed with less pressure and start opening from the bottom. The scissors go in easily, the material separates without struggle, and the initial symptoms of tension disappear almost immediately. Anyone who has ever cut themselves opening this type of packaging knows well the symptoms you shouldn't ignore. Locked hands, shortness of breath, anger rising out of nowhere. These are hidden symptoms of a poorly chosen method. By respecting the signals your body is giving you, the task ceases to be a test of patience. He uses this example to show how insisting on the obvious approach often leads to unnecessary stress. Many solutions are hidden in the less intuitive part of the problem. Those who learn to read subtle signals begin to look for smarter entry points in everything they do. And interestingly, the next habit follows this same logic of reversing the position to make life easier, starting with the simple act of putting something away. Storing peanut butter upside down. He observes that almost everyone stores the peanut butter jar upright, as is customary, ignoring the warning signs that appear when it's time to use it. Oil separating on top, a solid part at the bottom, excessive force on the spoon. These are signs from the body saying that this method doesn't make sense. These silent symptoms arise because gravity is working against the person. When the jar is stored upside down, the mixture balances itself. The early warning signs were there all along, they just weren't being heard. In practice, simply turn the container upside down as soon as you get it from the store and leave it like that until the first use. When you open it, the texture is uniform, without any struggle or mess. Anyone who has ever made a mess of the entire kitchen while stirring knows exactly what symptoms you shouldn't ignore. Tired arms, unnecessary irritation, a feeling of waste. These are hidden symptoms of an automatic habit. By respecting the signals your body is giving you, the experience becomes simple and efficient. He often says that many problems are solved before they even begin, simply by adjusting the initial position. Ignoring the silent signs leads to repeated efforts that never needed to exist. When a person learns to anticipate the process, they gain time, energy, and clarity. And this idea of preparing the ground appears again in the next example, especially when something seems lost. But there is still hope. Stripped screw salvation. He realizes that almost everyone panics when a screw strips, completely ignoring the warning signs that appear before total disaster. The wrench slips, the force increases, the hand stiffens. These are signs from the body warning that persisting will only make things worse. These silent symptoms are often treated as a personal challenge, when in fact they are clear warnings. By using a rubber band, a rubber tip, or even a slightly larger wrench, the grip returns. The early warning signs were there, asking for a change of strategy. In practice, placing a piece of rubber band between the wrench and the screw creates enough friction to regain control. Anyone who has been through this knows the symptoms you shouldn't ignore. Growing frustration, excessive force, a feeling of losing the battle. These are hidden symptoms of a common mistake, trying to overcome force with more force. By listening to the signals your body is giving you, the solution appears simple and almost elegant. He often explains that this type of situation reveals a dangerous mental pattern. When something slips through the cracks, the tendency is to tighten the screws, not think things through. Ignoring the silent signals transforms small problems into permanent damage. Those who learn to pause, observe, and adapt discover that almost everything can be recovered. And it's curious how the next wrong habit that works best also involves reversing the obvious logic, starting where no one imagines. Stabbing Capri Suns from the bottom. He observes that almost everyone tries to pierce the juice from the top, struggling with the bent straw, unexpected spills, and those awkward seconds of trial and error. These moments deliver several warning signs. Stiff hand, held breath, micro-irritations appearing out of nowhere. These are signals from the body warning that the chosen path is not the smartest. These silent symptoms seem silly, but they reveal a recurring pattern. When piercing the Capri Sun from the bottom, the straw goes straight in without resistance. The early warning signs were there, just asking for a reversal of logic. In practice, by supporting the box and inserting the straw into the base, the structure helps, it doesn't hinder. There's no crushing, no leaking, and the initial symptoms of tension disappear immediately. Anyone who has tried the traditional version easily recognizes the symptoms you shouldn't ignore. Excessive tightness, splashing on clothes, that childish feeling of, why does this never work? These are hidden symptoms of insisting on the wrong method. When you respect the signals your body is giving you, even something simple becomes fluid. He often uses this example to show that many daily frustrations don't stem from the task itself, but from the chosen entry point. Ignoring the subtle signals causes a person to repeat small mistakes for years, thinking it's normal. When you learn to observe before acting, the world seems to cooperate more. And now, with all these examples in mind, it's impossible not to question how many other wrong things work better when done the right way. Now stop and think calmly. How many times have you felt that slight discomfort, that strange resistance, those warning signs that appear along the way, and simply chosen to ignore them? These silent signs have never been insignificant. They have always been invitations. Invitations to do things differently, to adjust before breaking, to listen to the body's signals before wear and tear becomes routine. The difference between those who live tired and those who live with clarity is rarely in the effort. It's in paying attention to early warning signs. What you've seen here today isn't about cooking, tools, or random habits. It's about learning to identify early symptoms, recognizing hidden symptoms, and acting before the problem grows. It's about stopping the normalization of discomfort, frustration, and wasted energy. Because many of the symptoms you shouldn't ignore first appear as something simple, almost silly, until the day they demand a high price. When you start respecting the signals your body is giving you, everything begins to flow with less friction. So the game-changing question remains, in what area of your life are you still forcing something that has already given all possible warning signs? What would happen if, instead of insisting, you adjusted the angle, the timing, or the entry point? This knowledge only has real value when it becomes action. Test, apply, observe. And if this kind of insight makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because here, we don't teach you how to do more. We teach you how to do better by listening to what almost no one else listens to: